So I decided to change things up a bit and film outside since the sun is setting and it's a beautiful fall evening. One of the things that I have picked up recently that I'm really excited to have, that I've really been loving, is actually this hat right here. This is a hat made by Hanna hats. It's actually a company based in Donegal town, Ireland, and this is an Irish, Scottish wool tweed cap. It is a Newsboy cap, so you can see on the top there, it's got the 8 panels with the button in the middle, as well as a brim in the front. It is not a flat cap, which has one single flat panel over the top. For some reason, that style to me seems a little too modern, even though I know it's not. These, in fact, are a little older than the period that the rest of my clothes is from. So my clothes, like I mentioned in one of my other videos, are sort of from the era between the late 30s and the early 50s. This hat, this style of hat, a Newsboy cap, was much more popular in the 30s and sort of had begun to trail off by the 40s and give way to the flat cap or the flat top cap with the single panel, or something like a fedora or something like that, a trilby, a Homburg. Those are all still things that I plan to have, or to some degree have, in my wardrobe, but they are more not fashionable because they're all of the style, right? But they're more dressed up. They're more formal. This is the type of cap that you would wear if you were just going out with your friends, if you're going out for a drink at, a diner or a pub. This is the kind of hat you would wear if you were out on a trip with the family, out, to the country for the day, out on a little road trip after church or on a Saturday. This is the kind of hat you'd wear if you were working out in the yard, and primarily it's not just because of the look, it's because of the function of it, right? So this cap, because it is soft and floppy, it can fold in half. You wouldn't bend the brim, but you can fold this cap in half and you can stuff it into your pocket. And because you can stuff it into your pocket, it leaves your hands free. And that means that you can work with your hands. So when I go places for work, when I go to hospitals to work on systems, machines, I will wear this hat because I can take this hat and I can stuff it into my pocket, I can stuff it into my briefcase, and it doesn't get in the way of me using both of my hands. If I were to wear something like a fedora, which I do have one light-colored fedora, and I plan on picking up a darker, I think a Stetson is what I'm gonna go with, a felt fedora, to wear for going out in the evenings or with a darker suit. That is going to be something that if you had it with you and you had to take it off because you're in a building or you're greeting people, so you would remove your hat, you can't then stick that hat into your pocket. You can't shove that hat into your bag. You don't want to crush the felt. You don't want to ruin the form and the shape of it that you've probably developed over years of having it. And so that is more of a hat that you would wear if you had somewhere to put a hat down, or if you could hold the hat in your hands. If you're going to be working with your hands, you need both your hands, so you can't hold your hat. So something like this that folds up is the better option. This one, as you can see, or hopefully see from the tag inside of it, this is handmade in Ireland. This cost me about $100, which I think is well worth it because I plan on having this for a very long time, and I think I'm going to be wearing this cap a majority of the time. I think if it's a weekend, if I'm doing work around the house, if I'm just going out grocery shopping, or if I'm going, to visit with friends or something like that, I think I'm going to be wearing this cap. When I go to church, when I go out with my wife for dinner, formal events like that, I'll still put on the appropriate fedora. But I think this is going to be my everyday workhorse cap, and because it is handmade out of real wool from Ireland, I'm happy to pay $100 to have a cap that hopefully will last me the rest of my life if I take care of it, and that I will wear quite often. So that's all. I just wanted to show this off to you. Again, the makers of the hat is Hanna Hats. That's H-A-N-N-A, no H at the end of Hanna. Hats, hannahats.com. And you can find your own. They have flat caps, they have other styles of caps, and they have it in a lot of different colors. I was trying to find one, actually, this is an interesting bit. I was trying to find one that I could wear with as much of my clothing as possible, because one of the things with hats is you don't necessarily want your hat to match anything that you're wearing because it starts to feel a bit costumey. And so if you have, say for example, I have a dark gray suit. Say I had my 3-piece dark gray suit on. So I've got gray pants, I've got a gray vest, I've got a gray jacket, I've probably got a white shirt and a black tie to look nice, and black shoes, probably my regular black derbies. If I were to wear a matching gray fedora with that, that's a bit too much matching. That starts to feel a bit costumey. So I would want to wear something that's a bit off but still goes. So maybe a dark navy, or maybe a black hat. With a cap, I want to be able to wear it with pretty much any of my clothing, not just one suit or one sweater, because it is my like I said, my daily driver style hat. And so I need it to not clash, or actually not opposite of clash, I need it to not perfectly match with my suit jacket, or my brown coat, or my blue sweater, or my cream cardigan. You know, whatever I wear, I want it to be slightly off so that it doesn't create that costumey look. And what I found after looking at the options they had for this hat in particular was this color, this green sort of sage color. And so I asked ChatGPT, was a green kind of like a forest or an army green almost, a sage green, was that, you know, out of play in the 40s? Would that have been too colorful for menswear? Because I know things were a bit more muted, a bit more subtle. And it said no. Again, like with a lot of other fashion of that era, because of the war, that color had kind of become, you know, you'd see it in everyday life. And so it was perfectly normal for men to wear like a dark green or a sage green hat. And so that's what I went with. It's also got like a nice speckling, like a salt and pepper kind of look to it. Different colors that are mixed in with the wool. But really love this hat. Been wearing it almost every day. It's great. $100 well spent. If I take good care of it, I'll have it till the day that I die. But that's all. Just wanted to show off my hats. I'll probably show off my other hats when I get the opportunity. And I have some nice new outerwear that I'd like to talk about, like this this jacket that I picked up, which is really nice. But that's for another video. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. I hope you've enjoyed this outdoor shot. Hopefully it looks half decent. And I will see you guys in the next video.